Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Many protesters for Scientology have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, time and money, and all their efforts in many ways to protest against the Church of Scientology, to also show how much that they care. You don't have to really know somebody to care, but these supporters have put a lot into it. And guys, this is worldwide. Worldwide. People care. I care. However, unfortunately, I myself, some people feel it's been kind of a slap in the face, if you will, or a punch in the gut lately. Doubts have been risen. There's been unnecessary name calling, drama issues turning on each other. And it's quite sad. It's like a family that went to pieces. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not always that type of person about unicorns, rainbows, and peace and harmony. I get it. I really do. But as I discussed in another live, for me, I've been following up on the anti-Scientology movement since the early 80s. And for me, the spark drew in January of when it all came together, like in a different way. It wasn't per se the ex-Scientologist community or documentary style. Anyway, so I titled this Dear Foundations for a reason. First, we only had one foundation. Now we have two. We have the SPTV and the Aftermath Foundations. And that is said in no particular order, okay? It's, those are the facts. So I wrote the title to this because for a while now, people have been asking questions. And behind the scenes, I don't know what has been asked, to whom it's been asked, but I decided that this is what I wanted to do today. Okay. So these questions that I'm about to ask to you may be relevant to one of you or both of you. And I beg of you, to all the people that are on both foundation boards, to get this addressed. Okay? Really. All this back and forth, people, they deserve it. I mean, and somebody could make a snide comment saying, well, nobody asked them to. And if that is a thought that is popping into your head, that is per se your thought, but it's a real crummy one. You have people worldwide that are coming together and doing this. And you know what? Their reasons might be selfish, like it makes them feel good, or maybe something going on in their life that they just need more. But for whatever the case may be, a lot of these people are just regular people out there that want to do something about it. And that money can't buy. Just please think about this. It's really something that I would like to get taken care of. So let's go. Number one, how many ex-members have you helped? Now, I also put next to that comment, for all the people out there, the protesters or whomever is asking these questions, don't ask who, because not everybody wants to be exposed. If they decide that later on in life they want to talk about it, that is their business. So these questions that I am addressing today for you, for the foundations, okay, because it's not just me. many of us want to know. I put this in such a way that is maybe a little bit more uh, asking the right questions, or not in a aggressive manner, however you want to describe it. Okay, so number one again, how many ex-members have you helped? Number two, how many have you helped escape or leave? Number three, to the foundations, how much of the funds have gone to travel, housing, education, government documents, etc.? So what I mean by this is a financial breakdown, if you will, like a budget, That way it could be addressed, and also how much money has come into the foundation. If you recall, quite some time ago, there were fundraising, a lot of fundraising for the foundations, and it was quite successful. So all these people put their money into it. And it's just like anything else. If you want to use that word of business, um, you know, there has to be a meeting and say, okay, we've raised $450,000 so far, to date. X amount has gone to this, X amount has gone to that. So a budget breakdown, I think, is definitely something that should be done. Number four, has a plan of communication been set into action in regards to how the foundations will take care of things in a third-party manner, meaning rent, education? So say, for example, um, you just helped me escape the cult or leave the cult of Scientology, and I don't have any credit. I don't have anything. Well, nowadays you have to do all kinds of credit background checks. Whoever's living there, the name has to be on the lease, etc. So how will that be addressed? How will that be taken care of? Education, medical. This is something that really needs to be set if it hasn't already. Number five, are there representatives to assist people in person to go to appointments that they, excuse me, that they're not sure how to handle, or what the process is? Okay, so say, for example, Scientology has their methods about, and correct me if I'm wrong, nerve assist, touch assist, things like that, right? They don't really know about doctors. I mean, a lot of them never, they're they're like, oh, don't worry about going to the doctor. Scientology, we can do everything. So they're not sure how to handle it, what procedures are. I myself do not sometimes, and it can be tricky. So if somebody needed help to go to the dentist, would there be somebody to say, okay, PETA, I made an appointment for you. I'll pick you up. We'll go there and I'll walk you through it and get them used to it. Number six, and I find this one to address very, very important, especially with all the protesters out there, because I myself, I can't really speak for anybody because everybody is different. And if that ever happens to you in the moment, you might just be shocked, like, oh my God, is this real? What do I do? And other people can handle those kind of situations in a calm manner. It just depends. So number six, and this again pertains to the protesters. If someone gets asked for help to leave or escape Scientology, and that person that's escaping or leaving doesn't trust the police, and no one is available to answer a live call at the foundation, what do I or what do we do? I really hope that you let that sink in, if it's not already been thought of. What do we, the people out there, do? Or is there a backup phone number to call in an emergency? Now, this is another thing I'd like to address about that. YouTube and other platforms and anything in general can be pranked or trolled or, not being sure what to take seriously. I get that. But I do want to say that one of the foundations has a phone number where people worked hard to memorize. And it's not like an actual 800 number where people are standing by live to take the call. The other foundation is a phone number, and I'm assuming that it's a cell number that goes directly to a person. And, you know, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but that doesn't make sense. Because if you have a person in Australia and you have a person in Africa and you have a person in Canada that wants to escape, and these three people are calling the numbers and there's nobody there, what do they do? These protesters around the world have put in so much, and I honestly don't doubt them. I don't, excuse me, I don't blame them for doubting. Some of them may verbalize how they feel on a live or behind the scenes, and rightfully so, express how angry they are. And some may remain quiet because they feel so, my words, they might feel so dumb or so naive or so stupid to say, how could this be? I thought back a little while ago to Tori Magoo, who we all know and love, and she was down by Big Blue. And this, I can't recall exactly if it was like February or March, something like that, but it was a while ago. So she was sitting there with the younger people, the protesters, and she, as cute as could be, turned around and said, "Let me call the number." So she called one of the foundation's number just to see what would happen and who would answer. And she so sweetly said, "It went to voicemail." So after the recording, she left a voicemail and said, "This is Tori. I was just calling," and, gave an explanation, and that was it. So I didn't think of anything of it at the moment. I just let it go. And I was like, oh, well. But here's the thing, it took me all that time to yesterday to realize, wait a minute, did that not click in anybody's head? Did I miss something? Maybe one of the protesters did say something and discussion came into play, but I never heard of anything after that. Now, again, please understand, I'm not saying anything but the facts. Like, if something was said behind closed doors, okay, obviously I'm not going to know about that. But has the issue been addressed, or did that just come up lately? And if it did come up prior, why hasn't that been taken care of? The stories about ex-Scientologists, some are fond memories, some not so fond memories, and some of these people, you know, it was pure hell. I mean, explaining it once for them is traumatizing enough. But for them to keep going forward to get their message out there for people that, you know, I always used to think, wow, it's the same story over and over again. But then I realized not everybody has heard their story. So that's just one more new person that's listening and saying, hey, oh my God, this person went through hell. They were in a cult. Thank God they escaped. What can I do? It can be an inspiration of wanting to help yet again a stranger. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to keep myself together because it's a little upsetting to me. Actually, it's a lot upsetting. It really is. Um, and it hurts. It really does. So at the moment, those are the questions that I wrote down. Um, there might be others. There might be some great ideas out there. Uh, and feel free to add on. But again, foundations, this is what I want to ask you. I don't think I know. It would be in your best interest to help your reputations throughout the damage that's been done, or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to make words and make it worse. I think you guys, and I know you guys, owe it to all these people that have been supporting you. Live streams, chatting, donations, emails, whatever. I think you owe it to them, and I know you owe it to them to at least you come on a live to do videos. Why not come on live as a board? All the board members come together, all in one live, and let the people know. Let the people know. Let the protesters know. Let everybody know what improvements you've made, what you're doing. Is there a new phone number? Are you going to hire people to take live phone calls so so it can be addressed right away if there are multiple people? If you're on a phone call with one person and another person calls in, it can get kind of hectic. You owe it to the people that committed themselves to spreading the word as a never in a different way than what you guys went through. So many of these people give a damn. And to mention the protesters' names is not fair, because if I say one and not another, that's hurtful. I mean, maybe there might be a small portion that don't mind, but I don't want to do that. Everybody counts. Everybody matters. And they're the ones that made this happen. You might have a board member here and there and built the foundation, and that's a lot of hard work too. There's a lot of thought put into it, but things can be missed and things needed to be addressed. I had written an email. Okay. Again, I've said it before. Uh, you know, foundation is not made of one person. So you don't look at just that one person, right? Think outside the box. Talk to maybe somebody else. So let's see, I'd say about 7 days ago, I wrote an email to one of the people on the foundations and said, hello and good afternoon. This email is to respectfully ask questions directly. You are a very kind and caring person. I've watched you and many others against Scientology that have gotten out, and I, for one, am anti Scientology too. This is not a drama issue email. Quite frankly, staying out of nasty issues and the he said, she said is a smart decision. So with this said, so with that said, I am doing this instead of making suggestions to others to do so and taking it upon myself. I'm not going to rely on others. Um, I don't want to. I just realized I made a typo. Okay, for those new to the channel, that's uh that's my trademark of the typo queen. But okay, if I would like to know something, then I myself can ask. Could you please respond at your earliest convenience and let me know when is a good time? I thank you and hope you are having a wonderful day. And so that was my email to one of the board members. And, like I said, maybe there are other questions that I didn't think of that you might, but again, to the Aftermath Foundation and the SPTV Foundation, I strongly suggest that you get on track and do right by the people that have put so much into this to stand with you, stand behind you, to support you, to believe in what your cause is. I never was raised in that cult, and I thank God I wasn't. But I'll tell you this much. I know you guys were. And no matter how long you've been out, you might have some of those traits still in you. Wake up. Stop having and showing those culty tendencies, those culty attitudes, the holier than thou. You are not. You are not. We don't see you that way. Maybe some did. And when, you do that, and you disappoint the people, it breaks their heart. And if that doesn't bother you, well, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't. I don't want to make this a name game. I want you guys to make it right. Get the people's trust back in again. And don't do it on a false narrative. I mean, again, Scientology does that enough. We learned all this from you guys. How long I've been watching, how long others have been watching. We learned this from you. And some people might be waking up saying, oh my God, this is kind of cult-like behavior. This is not what it seemed. It's like a bait and switch. I beg you again, to both foundations, to going back to step one, square one, and why you started these foundations, and remembering what you're doing, who you're helping, everything from A to Z, and make it right. I thank you for listening. I thank you for being here. And just think about what I said. Somebody once said many, many times, and others to follow, foundations, board members, make it make sense. Have a good day. And thank you.